What's going on, everybody? I'm Guns for Hire and welcome to Game Flash. Now it's going to be a little bit noisy here, background noise possibly in this video here. Right on cue, there's one of my cats because it's Thanksgiving long weekend, so my kids are home, everyone's home. It is noisy and I'm not going to be like, shh, quiet on the set. We're doing very important news here. I want to talk about an article I came across, and of course there are going to be two links to this, because one's the original link, which is like a week on Monday, so it was a week ago, and then a follow-up on it because the government, or at least sort of like consumer watchdogs, intervene on this, and they're like, no, you cannot do that. So there'll be two links to the articles relating, in the description rather, that you can click on if you want to read more about it, because obviously I'm just going to touch on the subjects. About this PS4 ransom that seems to be going on with Simply Games, which is an online UK retailer for video games. And this is to do with the PlayStation 4. Apparently what happened was gamers that actually went in queue and did a pre-order for a £350 PS4 set, which I believe was like, it was the basic set. And it was a controller and that's it. I don't know. I don't think there was another game in there. But what happened was suddenly the company came out and contacted everyone who did these orders and said, you know what? We're only offering these bundles, and the bundles cost, I believe, £415 and £470 as well, for unofficial bundles. The original ones were the ones provided by Sony. They weren't like Sony certified. These were unofficial bundles created by one of their suppliers, I guess, that put it together. And what they said was, if you do not upgrade to one of these new bundles, you're out of the line for your 300. You're gonna lose your £350. We're putting you at the back of the line. So they were basically forcing, or you know, as the article and the way that they colorfully labeled it, they were holding their pre-orders at ransom. They were basically saying, no, you're in line right now, and you're in the very first position. You're going to be the first person. So if you think about it, if you were the very first person who made a pre-order and you were in the line, you were guaranteed 100% because you were waiting, you were in there, you got on there, you got that pre-order in, and you're at the top of that list. And suddenly they come back, they're like, you know what, we want to make more money, so we're going to sell these unofficial things, unofficial bundles, and if you don't upgrade to that, we're kicking you right to the bottom of the list. That pissed a lot of people off and made a lot of people angry, and of course the government got caught wind of this. There's a little bit of an odor. They're like, something doesn't smell right here. Since then, the Trading Standards Department of UK has intervened and basically said that what they're doing is illegal. It is profiteering, and it's just plain illegal. They cannot do that. They cannot take an order where you agree to something like online saying this is what it is, and then say, oh well, you know what, you can't have that unless you upgrade to this. They can't do that. It is essentially holding them at ransom. The government's freaking out. They're saying, we need immediate action. I don't have a follow-up yet. It's been a week on this. I'm hoping this gets resolved. This company should be penalized for that, because that's some bull crap in terms of consumers. I mean, that's trying to squeeze, especially when we're talking about how dedicated gamers are. They know that, and that's why they pull crap like this. They think they can get away with it, and I'm hoping that they don't, because this kind of crap here is just garbage. I mean, you think that the standards are what they do at GameStop. People yell at GameStop for what they do. If GameStop did this, holy mackerel, there'd be a class action lawsuit. Unfortunately, I don't know how many people actually pre-ordered with this company, but I guarantee you if there was enough, this is why class action lawsuits happen. And I absolutely, if one actually was created, I don't like class action lawsuits, you know, if you've seen me in the past, but in this case here, for what they're doing, if one does get created, I encourage you, if you're one of those people, to sign up on that. This company needs to be taken down because that's some bullcrap. You cannot do that to consumers. You cannot hold them at ransom just so that you can make a quick buck. And I don't care. I read the article too. They're like, well, it's the supplier's saying that they have to, they're forcing it. No, that's bullcrap. That's a way for the company who's responsible saying, oh, we couldn't really do anything. We wanted to offer you this, but we really can't. That's bullcrap. Don't believe that. If that's the absolute truth, let's see what happens in a court case. Let's see what the actual transcripts are, the emails are, and the actual conversations. Then let's see if they're actually going to say that they were forced to do it, because it all comes out in the wash then. This kind of stuff really annoys me because it takes advantage of you and me, the consumer. You know what I mean? We're already paying tons of money for this. What we don't need to do is being squeezed for every last penny that they could possibly get out of us. Anyway, that's it. How do you feel about that? Do you feel that it's wrong for what they're doing? If you don't think it's wrong, why is it, you know, how do you justify that? How do you justify what they're doing when even not just the consumers are pissed, but the government saying, yeah, no, that's illegal, you can't do that. I'm curious to know whether or not, and I'm more curious if any of you watching this have actually placed an order with them. I want to know if did you upgrade? Did you feel like you were coerced? You know, is there anyone approaching you? Is there a class action lawsuit? I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen any more follow-ups to the story, but it's an interesting one, especially when everyone's always shaking their fist at GameStop. I think these guys are way bigger douchebags. Anyway, that's it. Have yourself a great day.